Friends, today you'll be seeing inside the mirror room created by Sheikh Hasina. It's hard to find anyone in Bangladesh who hasn't heard of the mirror room. It was Sheikh Hasina's torture chamber, where people were abducted, murdered, or held captive. Now, you're about to witness the terrifying scenes inside the mirror room. Even in broad daylight, it's pitch dark in there. The room was used to torture and punish people in ways that will send chills down your spine. Anyone who spoke against the government or protested was abducted, sometimes in broad daylight, and taken to this place, never to be found again. They were kept inside this room for days, subjected to inhumane torture. The mirror room is said to contain mass graves, filled with the bodies of innocent people. As I move forward, I see bones scattered everywhere. The sight of dead bodies piled up in each room is horrifying. Particularly, DB Harun used to bring people here and torture them mercilessly. Some had their limbs cut off and were buried here, while others had their organs, like kidneys, sold. Seeing the inside of the mirror room, it feels like a hell on earth. My hair is standing on end as we move further inside. My heart is racing, knowing how dreadful this place is. It's hard to believe that in this day and age, people could be tortured so brutally. Thousands of people have been abducted and imprisoned in this mirror room, and they no longer exist. They were left without food for days. If they did get something to eat, it was cactus thorns, rotten leftovers, or something else equally terrible. Many of the prisoners fell ill from the lack of food and water. Some even resorted to drinking their own urine out of desperation. The prisoners were tied up in ways that caused them immense pain. Day after day, night after night, Harun and his gang tortured them in this place. They were given this power by Sheikh Hasina, who ruled with an iron fist. Her loyal followers carried out these heinous acts, often while drunk. Friends, inside this mirror room, we found a massive mass grave, which I'll show you at the end of this video. The sight of it will bring tears to your eyes. Now let's take a look at some more scenes inside the mirror room. As you can see, it's incredibly dark and deep, with no sunlight ever reaching inside. Journalists and outsiders were never allowed in, and if Sheikh Hasina's regime hadn't fallen, we might never have known about the mirror room. Recently, protests outside the mirror room led to the release of some prisoners. These people, who had been held captive without reason, claimed they never knew where they were or what had happened to them. Many of them can no longer speak properly, having endured unimaginable suffering. They've shared that they were only given food once a week, and the walls of the mirror room still echo with their cries of pain. Inside this medieval torture chamber, not only the police but also Bangladesh's intelligence agency dgfi carried out extensive operations against those who opposed the government. They would cut off fingers, beat prisoners relentlessly, and leave them chained up in bathrooms without food or water for days. The rooms were so small that prisoners couldn't even sit properly. Imagine the level of torture they endured. It's believed that 4,000 to 5,000 people were held captive in these rooms, subjected to the worst forms of torture, and some were driven to insanity. Many who survived the mirror room can't remember where they're from or what happened to them. The torture was so severe that some have lost their ability to speak. Some survivors are still too afraid to speak out, fearing they might be sent back. It's hard to imagine how twisted someone's mind must be to carry out such acts. We want to see the mirror room destroyed, or perhaps current government officials and ministers should be imprisoned there. They should be subjected to the same medieval torture. We don't just want them to be executed, we want them to suffer slowly. Friends, Sheikh Hasina has fled the country, but her corrupt followers remain. For a long time they controlled the cities and villages with fear, but now that Hasina is gone, we've regained our freedom. So friends, this was the statement of the students of Bangladesh that I presented to you completely myself. But if you want to get more interesting news of this kind of country and abroad, you must subscribe to my channel and like the video. Then you will stay with us. Thank you.